always be here real soon. You dance around my head at night and make me know that you are wrapped inside my heart. I can talk about the weather, you may talk until you feel somewhere deep inside me. And we can spend the night on the telephone, but don't you know that I'm still waiting here? Late at night when you go, I just long to hear your voice on that line now. I often wonder where to go. At the end of the day, it's always the same. We can talk about the weather. I can say how things are going on here. People stop and stare and ask at me, where'd you go? I just say I'm feeling so blue. I just don't know what to do without you, and I don't know where to go. 'Cause at the end of the day, it's always the same. Oh. You say, don't go. I'm so alone. And yes, we've talked about the weather. Now I think it's time to go. I miss you. I really miss you so bad. Just let go. I love you.
Whai te i te kaurangi, kei a koe. Tukuna mai te a, kia rere te ka mai. Ma ahuatanga katoa, ka pakata kotoia, kia vai. Ko te iwi tuala, hei toko i te tinana, i runga no i ngā mahi. Ka whaia hei kawenga, ma te tangata no e whakatinana. He kawenga ma te tangata.
Right, well, welcome everyone out there on Facebook Live, allblacks.com. It's my pleasure, along with Sir John Kerwin here, which is treating you with that sort of...
I've got to laugh when he calls me that, because he normally calls me a whole lot of other things.
Yeah. So it's an exciting day for us because it's the announcement of the All Black team and the New Zealand Maori team for the DHL British and Irish Lions series. And John, you remember being named for the All Blacks the first time and going through this as a player?
It's an amazing day for players. I actually remember missing out in '83 when everyone was saying I was going to be in, and that was listening to the radio back in the day, and it was just this real emotional torment, and then I didn't make it. But then making it the next year was just this amazing feeling of a dream come true. It's surreal, and so there'll be a lot of nervousness out there amongst especially some of the young guys and some of the older guys as well as you get on. I mean, I played for 10 years. As you get on in age, you start worrying about, you know, if the coach still likes the way you play, you know, your body's getting a bit battered. So, you know, even Kieran Reid, who's probably a cert, will be feeling a little bit of nerves, you know. And just,
so what are you expecting? Are you expecting a pretty established, obviously, lineup, not too many surprises, or...?
Yeah, well, I think the thing I like about Steve Hansen is his ability to make courageous decisions. You know, when I thought about it at length, I thought, yeah, you know, he will go with tried and true, but he's not scared also to bring in guys who are young and on form, who he's had a little bit of time with. So I think it'll be predictable and non-predictable, which is why we're all here.
Now, obviously, you're always known for your sartorial elegance. It's a particularly fine blazer.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a replica 1903 jersey. There's only 100 made. This is from Barker's. I have number 14, which was my number, so I thought it was right to wear it today. And obviously, you're wearing that ridiculously loud, horrible shirt. That
which is great, because 1903, obviously, the first year that you made the All Blacks. So we're looking forward now to the selectors coming in to this beautiful hall here at Mount Roskill Grammar, where we both played for De La Salle College, just one. Great school, and we're just waiting for the selectors.
Three wise men, we call them in New Zealand, actually.
Yeah.
And look, incredible time for them.
Because this is a massive deal, this team naming.
And I like the mix. You know, I like the mix because Foxy is the type of guy that is going to take you to confrontation and take you to making sure that whatever you do, you've thoroughly thought through it. And I think that's the beautiful mix around, you know, Steve, Ian, and Foxy, and also you've got the brilliant mind of the soon-to-be departing Wayne Smith. So, you know, they are the wise men, and the beauty about New Zealand and the lucky thing that we have is the biggest story is probably going to be who's missing out, you know, because there are so many guys in form, there's so much depth at the moment in most positions. The only position I'd be a little bit concerned about would be lock, and I'm really excited to see what they're doing. Not with the two, because I think, you know, Whitelock and Retallick are pretty much certs like Kieran Reid would be. But what are they going to do after that?
And midfield too. I mean, there's so much talent in midfield. Someone is going to miss out. There's someone incredibly talented is going to miss out. Trying to get all those players into sort of 3 or 4 positions.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nearly impossible. And the other key thing for us to discuss are people coming back from injury and whether that's going to affect, you know, our first test. Kieran Reid's out, Ryan Crotty's out, you know, Dan Coles is out, but they're all getting better. And so I think there's a real mystique to this naming, because what do you do about that?
Do you think the Blues game last night will influence selections? Do you think they would have sort of sat down after that game and just maybe changed a few things, or do you think they would have locked things in before that game?
I'm pretty sure they've locked things in, and then there's a few variables. So I believe Sonny Bill's always been in the side just because of the quality of the player, but does he start at 12? And last night I think he put up his hand to say to Steve, yeah, I'm a pretty good starter, you know. And the thing I liked about Sonny Bill was last night he was very strong defensively, which is what we're going to need at 12. So I think there are guys who are saying, yeah, I'm starting. And then, like I said, the intrigue around, are we just going to play Kieran Reid straight off in a test match against the Lions? My answer would be yes, but, you know, these 3 wise men will be discussing that type of thing all the time.
Yeah. Now, much as I love to hear you talk constantly and wave your hands around like an Italian, there are some people a little bit more important to you. The All Blacks selecting team and the chairman of the New Zealand Rugby Union and Dr. Farah Palmer, they're here to announce our two teams. We're going to have the...
Don't forget Coops, mate, the Maori coach.
Yeah, I'm going to say, we're going to have the All Black team named and the New Zealand Maori team named for the DHL British and Irish Lions series.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Mount Roskill Grammar for the announcement of the All Blacks and Maori All Blacks squads for the DHL New Zealand Lions series. I'd like to now call on New Zealand Rugby Chairman Brent Impey to come forward to announce the All Blacks squad.
Kia ora. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to those here at Mount Roskill Grammar, a school that represents the diversity of our country, and those in New Zealand and around the world watching this live on our All Blacks Facebook page. I trust everyone has been enjoying the DHL New Zealand Lions series so far and looking forward to the matches ahead. It gives me great pleasure to announce the All Blacks squad for the Pacifica Challenge test against Samoa and the 3 tests against the Lions. The squad is Beauden Barrett, Taranaki; Geordie Barrett, Taranaki; Scott Barrett, Taranaki; Sam Kane, Bay of Plenty; Dane Coles, Wellington; Wyatt Crockett, Canterbury; Ryan Crotty, Canterbury; Aaron Cruden, Manawatu; Israel Dagg, Hawke's Bay; Charlie Faumuina, Auckland; Owen Franks, Canterbury; Nathan Harris, Bay of Plenty; Rico Ioane, Auckland; Jerome Kaino, Auckland; Tara Kurbalo, Waikato; Nani Laumape, Manawatu; Anton Leonard Brown, Waikato; Joe Moody, Canterbury; Waisaki Naholo, Taranaki; TJ Perenara, Wellington; Kieran Reid, Counties Manukau and Captain; Brodie Retallick, Hawke's Bay; Luke Romano, Canterbury; Adi Savea, Wellington; Julian Savea, Wellington; Aaron Smith, Manawatu; Ben Smith, Otago; Limasoponga, Southland; Liam Squire, Tasman; Cody Taylor, Canterbury; Ofa Tuangawhasi, Auckland; Samuel Whitelock, Canterbury; Sonny Bill Williams, Counties Manukau. The All Black selectors have also named 5 players as injury cover. Those players are Liam Coltman, Otago; Via Fafita, Wellington; Jack Goodhue, Northland; Akira Ioane, Auckland; and Matt Todd of Canterbury. Congratulations and good luck to all those selected for this exciting series, and a special mention to the 2 new All Blacks, Geordie and Nani. I'd also like to take this opportunity to congratulate the Barrett family, mum and dad, and the Barrett siblings, who are the first trio of brothers to be named in an All Black squad together. Also, congratulations to the Maori All Blacks, who will be announced shortly, and to all the fans, I hope you enjoy the rugby coming up. Over to you, Steve.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks to Mount Roskill Grammar School for hosting us. Great to see all the kids here. Firstly, we want to congratulate everybody who's been named in the team. Obviously, it's a proud moment to be named as an All Black, especially Geordie and Nani and their families. To be read out for the first time is pretty special. But as always, it's times like this you've got to spare a thought for those people that have missed out. And this is probably the hardest team we've ever had to pick as a selecting trio. We had to make some tough decisions. A lot of people in good form. So some really good men have missed out. They're always tough. We see the next 4 matches as a real opportunity for us to measure ourselves on how we're going with our game. We're always, as we've often said, seeking to improve and get better. We want to take our game to the next level. We have a mindset that we've never arrived, and we're anticipating over the next 4-5 weeks that we're really going to have to play a highly physical, highly skilled and a high-paced intensity game. So we're looking forward to that. It's a great challenge for us, and we're all pretty excited by it. Just to clear up some of the things, the injuries, replacements are there because obviously Dane Coles is suffering from concussion. More than likely that he's not going to be available at least for the first couple of tests anyway. So we've got Liam in for that. And our loose forward trio, 2 of them have got broken thumbs, both looking to be fit, hopefully for the first Lions test. JK's hoping to be on the track next week against Samoa, but in the need for preparation and good preparation, we need to bring players in just in case something goes wrong there. Also, just a footnote, with the Maoris being named shortly, we want to announce that TKB, Rico and Akira are both going to be, all 3 of them will be made available on Wednesday to go down to Rotorua and represent the team if selected. And for the Highlanders, we're going to release Liam and Wise, so all 3 of them haven't had a lot of rugby, and we think that them getting some more rugby will be good, so open for questions.
Steve, where was the biggest bottleneck, or where was the hardest area to cut down?
Well, just about everywhere. Sav, like you look at the locks and there's 2 or 3 guys there that could have easily been picked. We've got some real talent. 12 months ago we were struggling to find enough midfielders, and people like Muller who've been great servants to the All Blacks and very good players and playing very well have missed out. So George Moala's another one. So your midfield probably the toughest, I guess.
Nani Lamapi, has his form just been too good to ignore?
Spot on. Sharp as always. He's been a standout, hasn't he? And for a young man who's just come back to rugby after spending a wee time in the wilderness playing league, to have him back and to have him playing as well as he is great for New Zealand rugby, and it's a credit to him and Bordy and the Hurricanes. If he's not leading line breaks, he's pretty high up. He's a leading try scorer and playing some good footy.
No, down the back.
Steve, can you confirm, is Scott Barrett going to be an option to play blindside?
I won't say he's not, but he hasn't been selected as someone that'll do that. Like if the circumstances are with our bench that we don't have a big Lucy on the bench, and we got an injury early in a test match, either he or if he's selected in the 23, or Sam Whitelock if he was selected, either one of those 2 could do the job for us, like Sam's done it in the past for us. So.
How robust the debate around the table to select this team?
I think Steve said it before, that it's the toughest group. We're in our 6th year as a selection trio now, and this is the toughest group we've had to pick. There's a lot of guys in form, and we've had to make some tough choices. We can't pick everybody, and that's just the way it is.
Steve, just wanted to ask you about the selection of Geordie Barrett. He's very young. 2 years ago or 3 years ago he was at school and probably only 6'1", now he's 6'5". Why have you decided he's ready?
Form. His performances for the Hurricanes have been outstanding, and when you're ready, you're ready. It doesn't matter if you're 6'1" or 6'5", I don't think that's got anything to do with it. That's your ability to cope with pressure and display the skills and that are necessary to perform at that level, and he's done it. And he's done it very easily by the look of him. And we found out a lot about Scotty Barrett, his brother, coping with pressure, and Geordie coming away last year. I think we've paid the dividends of that. He's had a taste of what it's like without any of the pressure, and now we think he's ready to step in and face what's ever chucked at him.
Liam, over on the left.
Ian, can you just speak to Ryan Crotty's injury? What's the situation with him, and do you sort of expect him to be fit for the first test?
Well, obviously he'll come in on. He's not playing for the Crusaders clearly, and he will come in on Sunday, and we'll assess that. It's going to be touch and go, but it's not out of the picture at this stage. So, you know, again, once we get it in, we'll make a pretty good assessment of that next week.
What have been the, I guess, the skill sets with Nani and also Geordie that I guess gave them the edge in this selection that you've liked?
Yeah, look, I think Geordie has got a nice all-round skill set, hasn't he? You know, like his kicking game, his high ball stuff, his pass and his run is all pretty rock solid. So, you know, like all young players, there's still some areas he's going to have to work hard on. And, you know, when he takes that next step up, it's going to be a challenge for him. But he's shown a great composure about him. You know, the way he's just taken each step the last 12 months and yet still continued just to believe in himself and do what he wants to do. So that's been pleasing. And Nani, I just think it's his progress over the last 12 months. You know, if you look at, he started off last year and really was probably just a really solid ball carrier. Now he's bringing a bit of variation to his running lines. His support play is outstanding, and you can see that his combination with Bodie is enabling them to both play really well. So, you know, just a player who's a little bit unique compared to our other midfielders. You know, he's pretty rock solid when he has the ball in his hands and goes forward. So it gives us another option.
Mark, over on the left.
Steve, could you just speak to Nee Milner-Skudder? How close did he come to selection? And knowing the way you guys treat players coming back from injury, was he close?
Well, he's very, very close. I mean, really a tough decision to leave him out, really, because he's the telling factor, I guess, was the amount of time he has been out for, and we just felt that if we bring him in and he's not playing for us, he's not getting what he needs, which is game time. So letting him have a free shot at playing for the Maori and then also playing for the Hurricanes. And then at the end of this series, when we pick the Rugby Championship, we'll reassess that, and you know, his form will be such that I'd say would probably be really hard to go past him. But you know, he's that type of player, so tough decision, really.
Jim?
Steve, Warren Gatlin said last night...
Over here on the right, Steve.
Warren Gatlin said last night there's very little difference between the Super Rugby teams and the All Blacks side that you've just named, the squad that you've just named. What's your reaction to that?
Oh, look, I just think he was probably trying to take a bit of humour, you know, after struggling a wee bit with his press conference before that, I suppose. I mean, I don't think there's any comparison to Super Rugby and Test Rugby, but he's just probably trying to make a light comment, possibly. I don't know what his thinking is, but...
What have you thought of the line so far?
Look, I've always said this, and I still believe it. I think they're the best line side to come here. I think arriving on the Wednesday and having to play on Saturday it's just too tough. We wouldn't do it, and so you can look at that performance and let it go. And then last night, you've still got people trying to find out who their mate is beside them. They're in the infancy of this tour. They'll only get better and better, and they'll be a good side when the tests come around. And it's well documented that that's all they want to win anyway. They just want to win the test matches. And Gatlin's made it very, very clear that the first test is all he's got his eyes on. So I don't think they're too bothered about what's happening between now and then. So it'd be foolish of us to think that we can just rock up and expect a soft game, because I think we'll get the kitchen sink chucked at us, and we need to be ready for that.
Nige, down the back.
Steve, we haven't seen Dane Coles playing for nearly 2.5, 3 months. His training's been inhibited by the headaches. Why name him when it's highly likely you are not going to have him in a condition to be able to utilise him?
Yeah, well, that's something, again, we debated, like it's semantics really naming him, but you know, he deserves to be named. He's our best hooker, we felt, and he deserves to be named. And then it gives us the opportunity to spend some time with him and see if we can help the process with what he's going through.
Sav?
Steve, you said he's unlikely to play the first 2 tests. Is it a day-by-day prospect with him, or
yeah.
Is it? So you're confident that he could play the third, or is that still...
No.
Right.
That's a yep and a no. Look, with concussion, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. It's all about how he's going, and he could come right tomorrow. You just don't know. But the key thing, if he does come right, is he hasn't played rugby for a long time, so we've got to be able to get the work into him. And there's no better person to be doing that than Nick Gill, which is another reason why we wanted to name him. So if he does, we've got the best man to get him up to speed, at his disposal.
No issues with Brodie or Ben Smith?
Not at this stage, no.
Which 2 tests are you talking about? Samoa in the first test or the first 2 Lions tests?
2 Lions tests.
Steve, sorry mate, could I ask please, in what areas do you feel Malachi Fekitoa has to improve to get back into the squad?
Well, when you look at the breakdown of the squad, we've picked Sonny and Nani, who are the 2 specialist 12s. Crotts can do both, as can Anton. So then we felt that if we were to lose a midfield player, we'd probably be short of a centre, an out-and-out centre. So then we looked at Muller, and then we looked at young Jack Goodhue, and Jack's probably got the nod because in those ability to put people into space, and especially in those 2-on-1 situations, he's very, very accurate for a young player, and his skill set's just probably a little higher than Miller's, and it was, again, a tough decision. Do we go for the young person or do we go for the experience? And in this case, we've decided to go with Jack. So I don't think we've seen the end of Miller. I think if he'll go away, he's a resilient young man. He'll go away and work hard and hopefully put his hand up to be selected again.
We'll wrap up in a couple of minutes, but we've got a couple more questions. James?
Yes, Steve, with your halfbacks, TJ Perenara is currently the number 9 on the Weet-Bix packets, but then Aaron Smith is playing very well. Where are you sort of seeing them in the pecking order?
Oh, you'll have to wait and see. When we name the team, it'll be pretty obvious where we put them in the pecking order, but with no point us telling the Lions or Samoa who we're picking, is there?
Okay, you're not giving that away. Have I got an auxiliary question, since that was a bit of a dead duck? Foxy, the kick pass is a big part of rugby right now with Bowden in particular and the Hurricanes. Are you looking to that as well with the Test series, that it's all going to be kick passes all day?
Oh, you'll have to wait and see what our strategy is too, James. But we've got 10s and other players who are actually good at it, and it's a good attacking weapon, and defences can't cover all the field. So the Lions are smart. They will have done a lot of homework, and they'll make adjustments, and it's going to be up to us to figure out how we can adjust again, but all that'll unfold in due course.
We've got one more question from John down the back on the left.
Yeah, Steve. It appears Akira Ioane's kind of leapfrogged maybe Elliot Dixon, Stephen Luatua. Just why is that?
Well, the tough and obvious thing with Stephen is he's heading overseas. So when you do that, you run the risk of then getting into competition with someone like Akira in this case. And we sat down and said, righto, is there much difference in how they're playing? No, there isn't. So then we've backed the guy that's going to stay here and give us something over the next few years for New Zealand rugby. And again, it's a tough decision because Stephen's playing really, really well, and we'd love it if he had been staying, but he's not. So then we've got to do what's right for the team and the future of the team, and that's why we made that decision. Elliot, just again. We sat down and we looked at the qualities of the two men when it came to selecting it, and we just feel that Akira's ability to win the collisions both with the ball in hand and when he's tackling gave him a little edge. But again, I don't think it'll be the end of Elliot. I think again he's a resilient young man, and he'll go away and gets a couple of opportunities, I guess, in the next couple of weeks to show us that probably or possibly we might have picked the wrong bloke. But we can only get 33 in the team. And that's why we've had to make some tough choices.
Thanks, everyone. We'll wrap it up there. Thanks, gentlemen. Stick around because we've got the Māori All Blacks squad. Thanks, gents. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to call on Māori Rugby Chair Dr. Farah Palmer to announce the Māori All Black squad and Colin Cooper to come up. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Farah.
Kia ora, Joe. I ngā mana e ngā reo nau mai haere mai. He honore māku ki te whakaingoatia I te tima Māori mō te taurua mano te kaumāwhitu. Ki ngā kaitākaro, he toa, he kaitiaki, he tauira mō tātou tamariki mō kupuna hoki. He oi anō, he mihi tēnei ki ngā tangata I tēnei wā whakahirahira. Welcome to you all who have gathered here today for this prestigious occasion, the naming of two national teams who have a long legacy of excellence. The squad, the Māori All Blacks squad that is being announced today will carry the mana of a great rugby tradition unique to our nation. This will be the 9th time the Māori All Blacks will be playing the Lions, and our game in Rotorua, where the management and squad will be hosted by Te Arawa, promises to be a highlight of this tour. Before I start to name the team, I'll just explain that I'll be saying the name of the player, their province, and then their iwi affiliations. So it is my honour to now name the 2017 Māori All Black squad to play the British and Irish Lions. Chris Eves, North Harbour, Waikato, Tainui. Kane Hames, Tasman, Ngāi Tūhoe, Ngāti Parau. Mike Kainga, Taranaki, Ngāti Kahungunu. Ben May, Hawke's Bay, Ngāti Maniapoto. Marcel Renata, Auckland, Ngāti Whanaunga, Te Aupauri. Ash Dixon, Captain, Hawke's Bay, Ngāti Tahinga. Hikawera Elliott, Counties Manukau, Ngāti Awa. Tom Franklin, Otago, Ngāti Maniapoto. Leighton Price, Taranaki, Waikato, Ngāti Maniapoto. Joe Wheeler, Tasman, Ngaitahu. Elliot Dixon, Southland, Ngāpuhi. Akira Oane, Auckland, Ngāpuhi, Te Whānau a Apanui. Liam Meesom, Waikato, Ngāti Maniapoto. Reid Prinsep, Canterbury, Te Rarawa. Kara Pryor, Northland, Ngāti Awa, Ngāti Pikiao, Ngāti Rangitihi. Bryn Hall, North Harbour, Ngāti Ranginui. Te Toiroa, Tā Huriorangi, Taranaki, Ngāti Pikiao. Otere Black, Manawatu, Ngāi Tūhoe, Te Whānau a Apanui, Ngāti Tūwharetoa. Ihaia West, Hawke's Bay, Ngāti Kahungunu, Ngāti Parau. Tim Bateman, Canterbury, Ngaitahu. Charlie Ngātai, Taranaki, Ngāti Parau, Te Whānau a Apanui, Te Whakatohia. Matt Proctor, Wellington, Ngāi Te Rangi, Ngāpuhi. Rob Thompson, Canterbury, Ngāti Kahungunu. James Lowe, Tasman, Ngāpuhi, Ngāi Te Rangi. Damien McKenzie, Waikato, Ngāti Tūwharetoa, Ngāti Tahinga. Nehe Milner Skada, Manawatu, Ngāti Parau, Tapuika. Declan O'Donnell, Taranaki, Ngāti Tūwharetoa, Ngāti Parau. Tawera Kerr Barlow, Waikato, Ngāti Maniapoto, Waikato. Rico Wane, Auckland, Ngāpuhi, Te Whānau a Apanui. It is now my pleasure to invite Māori All Blacks head coach Colin Cooper to address you all. Kia ora.
Kia ora koutou. Thank you, Mount Roskill, for your whare and your welcome. It's pretty exciting for me to bring this group together. As you've seen, there's some fantastic names there. And we're really looking forward to the opportunity of playing the Lions 1 week before the first test. The majority of the group have been together, so getting clarity on the field, expectations off the field, the process will go a lot better. Our learning and honouring Māori culture is of high importance to this team, along with the history of Māori rugby and representing New Zealand rugby. So we're certainly looking forward to bringing this whānau together over the week to prepare and present ourselves proudly before the Lions, and also to World Rugby on what Māori rugby is about. Also, we'll be launching a new jersey, which Luke Crawford will let you know about that, as he was a designer of it. But again, we know that the Māori game 1 week before the test will be a massive challenge for us. We have 1 week to get ready and prepare ourselves for that battle, and I'm really excited and looking forward to doing that. Thank you.
We've got the microphones, up the front here. Colin?
Colin,
Kia ora.
tēnā koe, mate. How much of a luxury was it to have guys like Nehe Milner-Skara, Damien McKenzie, the Ioane brothers, Tāwera, who are on the kind of the fringe of that All Blacks environment to select from?
Well, it's always been a strong vision of mine to drive the Māori team into being the best high-performance team we can be. And I think having relationships with the All Blacks and showing, getting the best people to get the group ready to be the best they can for Māori rugby and go on to be All Blacks has been something we've been driving together as a group. And I guess that's a result of what you can see from it.
Question down the back, Colin, to Nigel.
Colin, how nice to get experience like Charlie Ngātai and Liam Messam and be able to add them to that group that you took away last year.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Liam will just add a lot more confidence to the younger guys. And Charlie, he's just fantastic. He's an ex-captain along with Tim Bateman. We have a number of leaders that have been with this group over my time with the Māori team.
Colin, down the back.
Tēnā koe, Colin. Three of the All Blacks have been released to the Māori team. Are you happy with that number? Perhaps could it have been more?
Well, I think it's about just working with them, and I'm not expecting any. So to get three has been fantastic. The three have toured with us. The three know the way we want to play, our expectations with our culture, with the history with Māori rugby, and represent it well. I think those are the most important factors for me and for the management group.
Colin, speaking of Charlie Ngātai, how confident are you that he'll field, given that he's only played a couple of games and he kind of keeps having those recurring head issues?
Well, I guess it's that concussion issue that we're all concerned about in our game, and we'll be looking how that game goes against the Chiefs and the Hurricanes on Friday night. We have 16 of the All Black squad going hard at each other. So, if Charlie gets through that, that's great. And, we're just hoping that he is. He's a quality person and a player.
Ross, on the left.
Hello. You've listed James Lowe here in the midfielders. Is that where you plan to use him, not on the wing?
He'll be in the back three.
He'll be in the back three. Okay.
Owen, over here.
Can I just ask, you say the group's been together. Could you just explain it? Have they been in training together this year at all? And when do they actually come together as a squad to prepare specifically for this game?
They come together, as I said, we get the Highlander boys on tomorrow. We get the Chiefs and the Hurricane boys on Saturday. And the Crusader boys come in on Sunday. So we have Monday to Friday to get them ready for probably one of the biggest games that we've prepared for.
as far as being together, a majority of that group have toured on end-of-the-year tours with AIG, representing AIG and Adidas as we go overseas and show what Māori rugby is about overseas, and most of those players have toured with us.
Colin,
Nice.
to have the Blues have success, to have the Ioane brothers, to have Ihai score the winning try, how much can that help when they get into the environment?
Oh, well, just bring confidence, you know, and the game is all about confidence. Experience brings confidence, and winning brings confidence. So, you know, those Blues boys will come in on a high, including their coach, who's my assistant. So, I'm pretty excited, and we're all looking forward to preparing this team.
We'll take 2 more questions. Just wait, John. Just one over here. Thank you.
Colin, apologies if this has already been said, but you've named Ash Dixon as your captain. Who is his vice captain?
At this stage, we haven't named a vice captain. But as I said, I've rattled off 3 leaders before that, so we've got some really good choices. Yeah.
Do you have your idea of who you want as your deputy?
At this stage, because there's so many, and we'll just wait to see who we get. As I said, 16 have got to go against each other on Friday night.
We'll take the last question, John, on the left.
Yeah, Colin, 2005 was one of the more memorable games, the Māori against the Lions. Are you going to tap into that at all? Get any special guest speakers from that team to come in with the team?
Yeah, we certainly will. We'll be doing everything to get this group ready mentally. I think physically we're going to be good, because we'll work our week out what to do there, but if we can switch them on mentally, and I don't think being in Rotorua that's going to be an issue.
Kia ora, Coops. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, everyone. If you're watching on Facebook Live, we've still got a panel show with Rick Solizzo and Sir John Curwen, and for the rest of the media, we've got breakout interviews now. Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us, Steve. You said it was one of the most difficult teams you've ever had to pick. Why was that?
Oh, just because of the amount of talent that's there, and people are in good form, and so we've had to leave some people out that are probably good enough to be All Blacks, and that's always tough. We've had 1 or 2 niggly injuries to also complicate the process of, do we take 18 forwards or do we take 17 forwards, and through that we've had some really good, robust discussions, and but at end of the day, we've committed to a side that we think should do the job for us.
It's always going to be robust with Foxy in the room, which is good. Steve, I just wrote down who missed out: Whekataua Luatua, Moala, Dixon, McKenzie, Tuapolatu, Nihi Milaskara, Messam, Ngātai. What a lot of people ask me overseas is we're this production line of rugby players. All of those guys are incredibly unlucky, but what do you put down to guys like Geordie stepping up so young and looking so mature?
Well, someone like Geordie, I think it's just in his makeup. I think, when his brother was the same in Chicago, he just stepped up and looked like he'd been there all his life. So I think that's part of his makeup. It's part of his whānau's raised him in a way that to deal with, things that are high pressured. But our development system's pretty good. We've got a really great schools rugby, and tinkering a little bit on the point of being too outcome focused, but at the same time they're delivering good players. And then our provincial Māori 10 competition's great for introducing young men into that form of rugby. And then of course the super teams are flying. So we've got a really competitive base. If you want to get in a super team, you've got to be really performing, and then of course if you want to make the All Blacks, you've got to be really performing.
What about on a personal level? You having to tell someone like a Malachi Whekataua or a Stephen Luatua, who you've worked a lot with over the years, that this year they don't make it?
It's the toughest part of the job, and it requires me being really honest with them and showing empathy, because for them it's a pretty sad news to hear. So it's not easy, but it's got to be done the right way, and that's why I do it myself. I think it's my responsibility as the head coach to do that. So.
Been really interesting for me, Steve, because everyone's writing off the Lions already after 2 games. What I saw last night was a team that doesn't look like they've completely gelled yet with the systems. Looked like they didn't take too many risks with offloads and that sort of stuff. But what are you expecting from a Lions team from a style point of view?
Well, look, you can assume some things, believe nothing and then confirm it on the day, but what we would assume by the teams he's selected is that he won't stray too far off what he's normally done with teams he's coached, and we all have a style. It's no criticism of him, but that's his style. He likes to play with big physical forward packs, big physical ball carriers in the middle of the park, and then he likes to try and dominate you and then earn some space because of that. So I can't see him moving away from that too far. Do they want to counter-attack a little bit more? Probably they will. I think they tried that in the Welsh series when they came out here. They looked to run ball back at us. They'll look to vary up how they attack us with their kicking game, I would think. But there's a lot of work for them to do, and to bring that many people together, it's hard enough 5 franchises, let alone 5 different countries who have different cultures. Some of them don't even like each other. When you get up the north, and
a lot of history there.
There's a lot of history. So you've got to break all that down. It takes time. So I think they'll only get better.
I mean, for all our overseas viewers, there's our Prime Minister and then there's our All Black coach, Steve Hansen, and most of us, including me, have been really, really concerned about the numbers of injuries and stuff. And then Steve's just been really relaxed about it. So I guess my question is, there's a lot more highlight on the head injuries, and it's really important we look after guys. Do you have some sort of formula about experience versus, so someone like Kieran Reid, you're quite happy to put him straight into a test match with other guys with less experience? Do you have some sort of formula around that, or?
Yes, it's not just on experience. It's about the person themselves. And you think back to someone like Richie who had to do it quite a few times, versus someone like Dan. Like Dan wasn't a great guy playing with an injury. You needed Dan to be okay because,
he's back.
He is back. He's back. He's well back. But you know what I mean? Like Richie could just turn up and play. And I think that's a great credit to his mental fortitude. I think Rito's pretty similar to that. There's a big motor and mentally strong enough to be able to cope with any self-doubts or any minor niggles and pain that he comes with. So if you've got a player like that, you can afford to chuck him straight in. If you've got a player who's a worrier or thinks about it a wee bit, then you're better to get him right before you chuck him in.
Some really exciting new names in the group. Obviously Laumape and Geordie, and you've got some players in that wider group, Goodhue and Akira. That must bring some excitement into the whole sort of team.
Yeah, it'll bring a lot of enthusiasm, and that's what you want from those young guys, because there's 3 groups, I reckon. There's the young guys who come in who are really sort of bushy-tailed and bright-eyed, and then there's the guys who've been there for a long time, and it's, not being disrespectful, but here we go again. And then there's the guys in the middle who are they can fall one way or the other. They're either going to stay there for a long time or they're struggling to stay there, and they're trying to make a mark for themselves. So it's about using the energy that comes off all those 3 groups to make it work for you.
Steve won everything. It's been an amazing time for you. What does the Lion mean to you personally? I know that when you're coming up for events like this, it must be an incredibly exciting time for you, but also a little bit of pressure because you do have the cabinet full.
A little bit of pressure.
A lot of expectation,
Yeah, well, look, there's always pressure. If you think you're going to do this job and not have pressure, then you're kidding yourself. So you've got to accept that. And once you accept it, then it becomes a little bit more enjoyable. What does it mean? Well, this is one of the great rugby series, isn't it? And they only come here every 12 years. Not everyone gets the opportunity to play or coach against them, and having been lucky enough to be part of 205, you really get a good feel of what's coming and get excited by that, because your teams want to play the best, and it doesn't guarantee you win the thing, but you want to be part of that contest. So that's the exciting part, and the challenge now is for our group to outfox their group. Their group's going to try and outfox us, and we'll find out who gets there.
We're all going to have a good time.
What is, as a fan, can you remember your early memories as a fan of watching the Lions? What was your
Yeah, well,
earliest?
the very first test I ever saw was 1971 and Carisbrook. So, it's a team that stuck with me for a long time. And, there were some great players in that team. Edwards and Phil Bennett and Barry John and John Dawes was the captain. And some monsters. Well, they looked like monsters when I was a little kid watching them play up front. So, yeah.
I was on the sideline then, up
you play
here.
that game?
No, I was on the sideline. I was like this high, and it's the same thing. I just, it just excites our country. We just love our rugby so much. So we're all looking forward to it, and wish you luck, mate. Also,
yeah, thanks very
great
much.
team
Yeah,
too.
cheers,
Joining us.
Lovely, pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Thanks,
mate.
mate. Right, now joining us is just a reminder of the squad. Dane Coles is there, even though he's obviously under an injury cloud. We've got Scott Barrett, one of the Barrett trio. Nathan Harris, he's got a good story coming back from injury. We've got Cody Taylor, who's probably going to play a bit of football with Dane Coles injured. Loose forwards there, Sam Kane and Adi Severe. And, really the key in the middle there, Sam Whitelock and Brodie Retallick, and of course, Kieran Reid is captain. And Liam Squire and Jerome Kano just coming back from injury, hopefully in time. And now joining us, Grant Fox. So when they were saying robust discussion, that's basically you disagreeing with everything? Or?
No, it would be fair to say that on sort of 2 or 3 areas, it took us a while to get aligned. And that's good, it's the way it should be. If we all came agreeing with each other from the get-go, or one guy winning the argument all the time, then there shouldn't be 3 of us doing it. So, and look, this was the toughest squad we've had to pick. Without doubt, because and Steve quoted the midfield. The midfield last year we were battling like hell to say who is it, and we jumped on Anton, and look, that turned out real good, didn't it? And this year it's like, God, look at what we've got now. And yes, some of them haven't played Test rugby, but man, there's some good form shown by some people in that area. So that's congested and just makes it tough, and it's hard to leave good.
Yeah.
Not only good players, but good men out. It's just what we have to do sometimes.
I just wrote down the people that missed out, and I'll say it again for the viewers. Whekatoa, Luatua, Moala, Dixon, McKenzie, Topolotu, Nihi Miliskata, Messam, Ngātai, Foxy, so when you actually go into the room and you discuss these points, how much time do you give yourself? Do you have to give yourself some time? Because we're talking about, just the Whekatoa discussion, is it a process you go through?
But Jake, as you know,
Aussie, hey mate, good to see you. Welcome.
All year, all season, we're watching and we're talking and we're doing computer work, and we spend time together. We're not at all the games together. We cover the program, and then as we get closer to picking a group, we spend time. So a lot of those discussions are happening continuously, and then. Obviously when we're getting closer to the time, we've got a reasonable idea where we're heading, and it might come down to 2 or 3 that there's still, some debate to be had and some clashes coming up, and sometimes it'll be on that particular clash if you're going, well, it's 6 of one, half a dozen, and the latest bit of form can be the one that influences your decision. So, and that's where we really got to. We were 31 or 33 not so long ago, and with a couple still to go. So
the thing I like, sorry.
Well, we just welcome Ian Foster's just wandered in to join us. Welcome.
Good to be here.
Good to see you, Fozzie, as always. I think the thing I love about this particular crew of selectors, and I know that 2 of you coach, is you're not scared to bring in some young guys. This is a huge event, right? And it would have been easy sometimes to go with someone who might have been there, but you've gone with someone like Mape who's playing incredibly well at the moment. We've all been talking about him, but most of us have been saying, well, will they take a risk in picking someone who's untried? But you've once again shown us that you're not scared, Fozzie, to say these guys are on form, and if you're good enough, let's go for it.
Yeah, it's the hard part, isn't it? Whilst there's a good story about Ngāni, there's a hard luck story for someone else, and particularly the likes of Malakai. I think what's made it hard this year, like Foxy just alluded to, is that there's probably another 2 or 3 players that could have easily gone into that thing. But at the end of the day, our task is to try to pick the guys that we think can enhance this team and grow it. And what Ngāni's got, for example, is a skill set and a part of his game that we probably haven't got with our other midfielders. And it just gives us a whole range of options to explore once we figure out how we can put that on the international stage.
Just talking about Geordie Barrett, and just thank you very much to Mr. and Mrs. Barrett for this All Black team. Much appreciated.
Are there any more?
Yeah. But how important was doing that apprenticeship on the tour last year to his improvement in his selection?
Yeah, well, look, I think it's, like we did it a few years ago with Artie. I mean, it's not something that we go into every year, is it, Foxy, where we say, I'm going to have an apprentice on a... So it's more about when we see something in a player that we think, okay, well, if we could expose that person to the environment and get them used to it without the pressure of playing, then it may accelerate their learning. So that's we did it with Artie, and we learned out of Artie a couple of years ago that he just needed to go away and put a little bit more size on, and so he went away and did that, and the results have been fantastic. And I think with Geordie, we learned very quickly that, you know, like he's just got that, he's got a composure about him and a competitiveness about him that just means that he wants to be there, and we've witnessed that.
Can I ask you a question, JK? So you've been in the situation that Geordie's going to be in. You got picked at like 13 years old or whatever it was, and got chucked in there. I mean, how does he handle that?
Oh, it's got a lot to do with the environment, and you know, Foxy was similar. When we went in, the older guys really looked after us, and they gave us confidence. Firstly, the thing that we realised was you hadn't made it. So you got into this new crew, and everyone says, well done, you're an All Black. And then you get into the environment and realise you want to stay there for as long as you can. That's the first thing you think, actually, I'm not at the top of my game, I've got to keep getting better. And then the second thing is the people around you giving you confidence. So some of the elder players like Kieran Reid and Jerome Kaino in this situation, some of the guys that won't be playing, possibly like Coles, are really important in the environment. So I think for me, that's the most important thing, is the environment. And then having the confidence just to do your own job. So you just get out there and play your game. You know that the guy next to you is the best in the world. So that's really positive.
That's the message that the coaching group gives new guys. You know, don't just be yourself. You know, play your game. Don't try and be somebody else. Just go out and concentrate, you know, on what you're good at and what you've been selected for. And they give, you know, the message is, we trust you. If you go back to the Artie and Geordie thing on apprenticeships, that was, for those two, it's very obvious. It's not if they were going to be All Blacks, it was when. So it gave the coaching group a bit of time to find out more about them, and as Fozzie said, accelerate their learning. And you know, Artie's, look how good Artie is, and Geordie's not going to be bad either. We're pretty sure of that.
We all played with Gaddy, except for you, Ricardo. No, you didn't play him.
He did not play cards with Gats?
Yeah.
You did, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we all know Gats pretty well. And they're getting stuck into him, and I can't believe that really, because it looks like the team's just not quite got their game comfortable yet. But this is going to be a big Lions team, well coached. Does that excite you? You're looking forward to that challenge?
Yours?
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, this is, you know, we know they're going to go through a phase, but the first 5 games are about getting ready for the 6th game, which is a test match, isn't it? And they've stated that clearly. And so whilst I guess they want to win everything to build up their own confidence, they're trying combinations out, trying their game plans. And I mean, and their challenge is, at what point do they stop that and actually focus on improving their game versus, you know, keeping the whole squad happy and rotating it around. So they've got challenges, we've got challenges. At the end of the day, Test 1 will be a winner takes all, won't it? And we know that, and we know they've got proven international players that, for one-off occasions, are very, very good players. So we have to prepare for them to be at their best.
You've got some very strong high ball exponents and guys who are good at kicking the ball back in your back three. Are you expecting a fair bit of that from the Lions?
Yeah, I think so. I think we saw a little bit of it last night, where under pressure they went to their scrum for penalties, they went to their line-out drives, and you know, we would expect the high ball to be part of that. So it's certainly going to be something that we have to deal with.
Well, we're going to let these two gentlemen go to the real media now. Exactly. So this is a Facebook thing. I'll explain what Facebook is afterwards when we wind down.
Had to explain to me.
Yeah. All right. All the best for the...
Cheers, guys.
See you guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, Foxy.
Thanks,
Foxy.
Thanks,
Foxy. See you, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, Foxy.
And let's have a look back.
Thanks,
just a reminder, there's the All Blacks squad again. The forwards are Kieran Reid, as we said, coming back from injury, as is Liam Skye, Jerome Kaino. And just joining us now, looking at the backs. Yeah, very strong. Obviously, you see those new names there, Ngani Laumape and Geordie Barrett, which is very exciting for all of us. And then this is a really interesting group here of injury replacements. So they're obviously going to be part of the group. You've got the young Jack Goodhue, who's playing out of his skin for the Crusaders at the moment, Liam Coltman, the hooker cover, Matt Todd, who would be frontline number 7 for most teams around the world, via Fafita, and Akira Ioane, who's sort of really coming out from the wilderness and showing some great form. So joining us now is the guy that's going to be captaining the group, and Kieran Ray, welcome. How's the thumb? Does everyone ask you that every time they talk to you?
I hate that. It's the first thing they say, so let's not talk about your thumb, it's fine.
Yeah, it's going to be fine. So no,
okay, move on. Right.
I think the scariest thing for you is when you do play that first test, how your lungs going to be burning after not playing.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, mate, the mindset of it is it's probably going to be burning, which is fine. So I know I've done a lot of work over the last probably 6 weeks, been able to run, been able to do all that. So looking forward to that test, and you just know your body's going to be hurting. You've got to get your mind to get you over that line.
And I think for someone like yourself, exciting having some of these young guys in the side, keep some of the more experienced, I won't call you old yet,
yeah.
Some of the more experienced guys, I mean, they bring a great excitement, and this selection group are not scared to bring in some new blood, young guys.
Yeah, you're right there. It's that's what is exciting, I guess, for us as older guys, been around a while, is just the excitement on their faces when they come into the squad, and those new guys, even those injury replacements coming in, they'll be so excited. It just lifts us as a group. You need a whole squad, and some days you might not be quite feeling it, but if you see someone who's up, it gets everyone else up, which is awesome.
I've actually just brought in a young guy, Ricky
Yeah.
Ioane. Yeah. Congratulations, first of all, on the win last night.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. That was awesome.
Yeah, and then congratulations on the selection. So it must be really exciting for you to have your brother as part of the group as well.
Yeah, obviously having Aki in here, it's a dream come true for both of us, I think, just being together. But yeah, he's definitely worked hard this year on his game and on everything that comes with it. So yeah, it's awesome as a brother just to see him get the rewards, just to be in the mix, and the environment will be awesome for him. And again, just keep progressing and growing his game.
Now, not a lot of people will know this, but the Ioane boys got their pace off their mums. Andrew is a fantastic athlete in her own right, but must be a proud day for Eddie and Mum.
Yeah.
They'll be stoked to see you both there.
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously last year was awesome for them, so I think this year will definitely be a better highlight with Aki being in. So I think, yeah, definitely family dinners on the cards tonight. So,
Kieran, just go back. I mean, obviously the Lions are copping a bit of flack at the moment. Does that sort of make you feel a bit uneasy that everyone's sort of writing them off?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, I don't want us to be too naive about what we've seen so far. Like, by the time we get to that first test, they're going to be a completely different side. Test matches is won or lost on your defence, on your set piece and things like that, and your intensity to a game. And that's probably their strength, is what they'll bring in those 2 games, and they'll work on their skill level and combinations, which will come probably over the next 2 weeks. So, yeah, it hasn't changed our mindset of how tough this series is going to be.
I think for us, we often talk about Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere, don't we, Ricardo? I mean, it is hard and frustrating to go straight into strong Northern Hemisphere style rugby when they're sending more to the ruck. Often they're off their feet, not their fault, it's just refereed really differently. So, I mean, that would be one of the challenges, actually, just keep confidence, don't get frustrated with, game, different pace. You come from Super Rugby, it's sort of razzle-dazzle, and then things slow down a bit. So the leadership group will be important to keep that calmness.
Yeah, I think so. I think, we have definitely noticed that, I guess, you play the Southern Hemisphere game, and it is different to the Northern Hemisphere. In terms of, as you say, the refs are potentially a couple of French referees. The way they play, the line speed, the work that they do at the breakdown is probably ahead of what we do down here, whereas for us it's about getting quick balls, so defences can all fan out, whereas up there it's slowing the ball down, it's doing your best to do that, which makes the game up, I guess, in that northern part of the world. So yeah, slight differences. What it can't cloud us is what our strengths are. And as you said, I think the way we can just work on them, use our strength, which is obviously going to be able to make as quick ball as we can, operate our skill set, and let that happen. But you've got to have slight variations in your game.
Rico, you played against the Lions last night. What about the intensity and also their line speed on defence? How did you find that?
Yeah, obviously they brought a lot faster line speed compared to what we're used to. And I think, as Kieran touched on, just the physicality at the breakdown,
A couple of their boys, big boys, they're just awesome over the ball. And I think for them to be so big and so mobile, especially around that breakdown and around those tight rucks.
Do you feel a real difference between, say, playing Super Rugby and then playing against the Lions?
Yeah, I think I'm not too involved in the breakdowns, but definitely the line speed I felt was a lot faster than what I'm used to. But I think it's probably better to ask a forward about the breakdown because
I avoided breakdowns my whole career, so that was a bit of a challenge for me. Now, I know you love your kit. Mate, I know you love your shoes and stuff, so you're looking forward to the free kit?
Free kit's always good. I'm just happy to be back, and obviously the kit's really good.
And I know you're one of the youngest boys, but you do have to lead the fashion, right? Because I know you're a centre, but you're playing on the wing, so you've got to help these forwards especially to roll with the right gear, mate. Especially some of the more mature guys on the side, you just got to keep them...
It's okay, we'll go all right, mate. We'll go all right.
But the good thing is he doesn't have to share his issue with his brother because he gets his own issue.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but it looks like you're enjoying it, mate. Like you're smiling last night, the pressure, you're just having a good time.
Yeah, I think obviously last night with playoffs out of reach for us Blues Brothers, I think there's definitely just a chance to just to play the game that how we want to and how we've wanted to for a long time. And I think last night was the start of that. So I think definitely the whole team thoroughly enjoyed the brand that we did play last night. And with all our guns firing last night, it was awesome to get on the back end of a few of the offloads and kicks. So
we've got to let you guys go to your media duties, but what was your earliest memory of the Lions as a fan?
Probably for me it was when they played in Australia, I think 2001. It's probably when I first really kind of recognised what they were. My dad certainly appreciated them when they came here. Watched a lot of those tours. 71, I guess, was a massive one. And told me how much it means to New Zealanders when they come. But for me it was Australia, and then 01, I think 05 as well. I guess coming here was another big one.
Because are you aware, Rico? You've obviously heard all this talk about just what the Lions mean to the New Zealand rugby public.
I think, obviously it's huge. Something that doesn't come around very often. I think the last time they actually came to New Zealand, I was probably too young to remember any of it.
All right, let's just finish it there, I think. That's a good time.
Sorry.
All right, we'll let these fine gentlemen go. Now they've reminded us that we're a little bit older than everyone else.
Sorry.
No, that's good. Keep that up. I like that. That's good. He was talking to you.
I was talking to me. All right. All the best for the DHL British and Irish Lions series.
Oh, well done, mate. You've
got
all the sponsors out.
Well done, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
See you, brother. Enjoy.
Cheers.
Good luck.
And here's just a look at the Maori All Blacks squad. Just a reminder, led there by Ash Dixon, and really pleased for Elliot Dixon to get a chance to show that the selectors not forget about him. And very strong, experienced group, obviously led by Liam Messam there, and Akira having a chance to show why the selectors have got it right. And then we'll have a look now at the backs. Exciting for Bryn Hall, who's come in from his first year at the Crusaders to get the selection. The Ihia West there, who's obviously still celebrating last night's try. He's got another reason to celebrate. A big opportunity for Nehi Milner-Skudder to remind the selectors of just how talented he is, as with Damien McKenzie. So there's a really nice blend. Exciting to see Charlie Ngatai getting a chance to step up. And now joining us, the coach of the New Zealand Maori All Blacks is Peter. Welcome.
All right. Coops, good to see you, mate.
Okay.
Lovely to have you here. What a team.
Exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got experience and it's got X Factor in it. And so I'm pretty proud to be representing them as the head coach and looking forward to it. Yeah.
And just for our international viewers, the spiritual side of coming together as a Maori, bringing all the tribes together, their whakapapa and their whānau, that's a big part of the week as well.
That's what I talked about mentally. It helps us connect to who we are, what we're about, and most teams is super and Maita trying to get a theme to connect everyone is always a challenge. But with Māori rugby, it's one of the easiest teams I've got because we just go back to our history, our legacy, and and boys all being Maori, they just connect so easy. And I guess that's why we can get a team in, travel, play a test match, and 6 days later, it's the mental side has already been done.
When I looked at that group, obviously you've got a captain, but you talked about the leaders you've got in that group. You know, people like Liam Messam and Ali Dixon. You've got some incredible, not just because they're experienced, but they're leaders of men.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Tim Bateman and Charlie Ngatai, they're fantastic leaders, and you know, I've been very lucky to be able to have coached them previously and bringing them along into Ash, and there's a number of others in that group too that could lead. So I think the selection was all about the now. So a lot of players that were playing Super were getting a nod ahead of guys that weren't playing Super, and experience came into it also.
I think that the interesting thing for me, Coops, is that, you know, Gats has come down here. You know, as a coach, it's really hard to say everyone's going to get a game when you've got big test match coming up. But I'm pretty sure that you're going to be playing the test side, you know, so it's going to be a huge challenge. You've been following them, you're excited about it?
Yeah, well, I've been interested. I learned a lot going to UK last year and seeing the mindset of the UK player and how he played, and they've certainly been playing a lot more expensive than I thought they would, and you know, is he trying things out? Is he getting ready for that first test, which the word is, and so if he's getting ready for the first test, Māori will play the first test team, and so we have to be ready. It's going to be all on. It's
always the highlight of a Lions tour, the New Zealand Māori game, isn't it? I mean, for us growing up, you know, it's some of the great games, you know, and that sense of expectation. How do the New Zealand Māori All Blacks deal with that sense of expectation? Yeah,
again, we've just got to think about what we can bring, be prepared as best we can. You know, we're only going to be together for about 3 or 4 trainings, so being smart in those trainings, and not having to go over 100% how to exit, 100% on what we're doing from set piece, but to just give a structure where we can play our game.
We've got a new jersey.
Yeah, it's just over there. You want to go and get it, Ricardo? You want me to go and get it?
Or we'll get
someone to get it.
Can someone go and get that jersey for us?
Oh, there's no one around. Can you grab the jersey for us?
Bring it in, because I'd like you to sort of explain a little bit about some of the design of this jersey, because, you know...
Because I've just had a bit of a lesson on it, which really excites me.
We won't get...
You can pull his arm off, it's okay. It's only us. Yeah. We've just ripped the arm off the model.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring him in.
So we're hoping that the New Zealand Maori players will be playing with both arms, but we're just bring the whole mannequin over.
Yeah, bring the mannequin over. Yeah.
Just
that's right. Just bring it. We only need the top bit. Yeah, that's it. Beautiful. Can we swing that camera around?
There we go.
There we go.
Oh,
beautiful.
See?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I just got this explained to me, which is really important because, like I said, for international viewers, especially for Māori and also for us New Zealanders, having a connection with the land is really fundamental. And when Coop said about the team coming together, so down the bottom here we have the lake, Lake Rotorua, which is a really important, significant place in Māoridom, and then we go up. What have we got here, Ricardo? We've got a taniwha there, which is really important. On both sleeves, we've got Mother and Father Earth, and you know, I reckon it's one of the loveliest jerseys I've seen. We've also got more designs on the pants, but coming back to that spirituality, Coops, it does bring people
first
together.
Of all, how accurate was he when he described
the very accurate.
Was he
very
good?
Accurate, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Kaumatua Luke Crawford.
Yeah.
Designed that, and he's been with us all my time in the last 5 years. So, very good man by helping me bring culture into our environment and the connection of playing and having the culture behind you, having a lot of waira for your culture and playing for your people is pretty special, and that's why I love being involved in this team.
And style of play, traditionally, Coop's always been about giving the ball some air, and you know, Barbarian rugby style was probably invented by the Māori because, but you have an incredible athlete, don't you? I think our Maori players, Nia Milaskara, I mean, you know, he comes onto the scene and steps 100 people and goes back to step them all again before he scores a try. But the talent must excite you.
Yeah, so I think for me it was putting some structure around that flair, and because you're not going to compete around the world if you're just playing with flair, and so I've probably restricted it a little bit if there's criticism on how we're playing, and trying to get us stronger at set piece, getting us more organised in our launch, and then and then our next play from that, and then opening up for flair. So I think when we played Japan, I remember our first test against Eddie Jones in 2013 or 14. He just brought everything at us. Defensively, we smashed them and knocked them over by 60 points. Then he played set piece game, and we were lucky to win. And we won by, I think, a point, and it was Māori flair that got us that win in the end.
I mean, the modern game, you need that balance, though, don't you, Coops? I mean, we talk about throwing the ball, but you've got to earn the right, don't you?
It's earning the right,
Earning the right.
That's all this. We can't wait for that game, because as you say, it's going to probably be a bit of a look at the Lions test side, and you get a chance to really play the first test, so all the best. So that's probably coming to the end of our Facebook Live coverage of the All Black team announcement and the New Zealand Māori All Black announcement for the British and Irish Lions DHL series. Now don't forget, the first time we get to see this All Black team in action, the Pacifica Challenge, so get your tickets. The All Blacks v Samoa and Tonga v Wales, both games on at Eden Park on the 16th of June, that's Friday. Gates open at 4:30, and we expect to see you all there, because we're all passionate All Black fans, and the best way to get out there and support them is by going to their games. So just in summary, JK,
in summary, I'm just looking at the All Blacks, and then there's Tonga Wales before that.
Yeah.
How good is that? My summary is this All Black side is one of the strongest because of the people that got left out. There's an incredible football team that is not being selected today. Strong team. We're going to need a strong team for this Lions. I wouldn't write them off, but I'm just really excited because I think, great courage by the selectors to bring in, guys like Rico and Akita and the Barrett family. So yeah, just exciting times, mate.
And how about those two young guys, Nani Lamape and Jordy Barrett? They've just been named today as All Blacks for the first time in their lives.
Yeah, you're walking on cloud nine. You keep looking at your selection to make sure that it's true, and you probably won't believe it till you put the jersey on. But that's how strong our All Black culture is. Like I say, when we're born, we say All Blacks before we say mum and dad. So it's a dream come true for them. Really proud moment for their families. And now they'll want to stay there.
Right, well, thank you very much for joining us here on Facebook Live and allblacks.com. It's been a real pleasure to bring these teams to you. Get out and support them. And we're signing off now here from this beautiful Mount Roskill Grammar School hall. And we'll catch you on Feed the Back sometime.
Yeah, sometime soon.
When we work out how Facebook works. Thank you.
Bye.